Hi, this is Patrick Cassidy. Thank you for listening to The New Spy. Today I'm going to talk about the irrationality of living under a secret government, as well as the secret origins of mankind. This is a conspiracy that hundreds of people, maybe thousands, but hundreds of people through direct execution have died for in multiple religions. In my first bachelor's degree, I studied angelology, and it sort of put me down a rabbit hole of esoteric secrets about angels. I finally discovered the true meaning of the Adam and Eve story, which is that Adam and Eve discovered where they came from. They discovered their true nature, and this was outlawed by God. The real fruit within the Adam and Eve story is that celestial beings are here amongst us, at least according to almost every single religion on the planet, and that they keep secret their origins, their names, what they're doing, their agendas. It almost sounds, from an ancient astronaut perspective, as a extraterrestrial conspiracy. And I don't use the term extraterrestrial, I use the term celestial beings. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that, and then I want to compare that and have people ask themselves, does this sound similar to our modern government? Like, how much do you really know about your modern government? Why is it necessary for diplomats to maintain secrecy? Why do we live underneath these sort of secrets? So let's start off with a couple stories of secret angels. So Paul calls himself a keeper of the mysteries, and his students, he tells them that you're drinking breast milk and you can't handle the hard meat. He goes back to the story of Abraham and tells people the angels are living amongst you. He says that you're entertaining angels unaware. And then he also goes on to say that Christianity's biggest enemies are celestial beings who work in high offices of power. So these celestial beings from outer space, or angels, you can call them spirits or you can call them biological beings. The Bible simply doesn't state. But you can see the conspiracy pretty blatantly in Paul's writings. In the Old Testament, when people come across angels, they always ask, "What is your name?" And the angel refuses to give his name. Well, there's versions of Jewish texts that weren't included in the Bible, but early Christians did use, including the book of Enoch, especially the book of 1st Enoch, where the angels' names are revealed. And it was common practice to keep these names secret. They oftentimes would have magical incantation purposes. But that's not the sole purpose. The sole purpose is to hide this secret that God is keeping from us. That God outlawed us knowing, at least in the allegory, it says, that these celestial beings maintain their power in government and as rulers of this earth by means of secrecy. And they're always giving things to mankind, manipulating our futures, getting in wars with each other, killing each other. They sound very similar to humans. So for somebody who's an atheist and thinks scientifically, they say, well, these celestial beings, we haven't seen any evidence. Even if you prove scientifically that there is this sort of celestial conspiracy that is almost identical in every single religion, then this could be used or created by a human and then used in order to control the population. And I would say that's a valid argument. From what I've studied, I believe the evidence that I've uncovered proves that there is a celestial conspiracy. It proves that there are celestial beings here amongst us, and they're using religion and parables in order to tell their story and also keep humans in order. So going back to modern government, or in light of all this and looking at our modern government, we see how the United States government has invented UFO conspiracies. We have documents, even since the 1950s, that have been declassified, of the government saying we are going to invent a conspiracy theory about extraterrestrials and aliens and UFOs in order to run our own skunk work projects, our own military Air Force projects. So the whole idea that somebody who talks of extraterrestrials is a wacko bird, they're crazy, they don't know what they're talking about, this was actually fabricated by the United States government, and there's multiple documents, if you do your research, that prove this. Edward Snowden has recently released documents from the GCHQ where they literally list conspiracies. They list disinformation as one of the techniques they use when they are fighting against people online, when they're engaged in their cyber spook activity. So God, or the gods, plural, because we were created in their image, at least according to the Bible, not one person's image, but this image of God is the mystery of mysteries. What I'm doing right now, hundreds and thousands of people were killed. One notably, Quintus Valerius Serranos, although scholars dispute whether this was the real reason for his execution, but so the rumors go. He was executed for revealing the secret name of Rome. And the cult in the Roman Republic, they set themselves as God. This is Lucifer. This is the cult of Lucifer. The idea of Lucifer having been in the Garden of Eden, within the book of Isaiah, as well as within the book of Ezekiel, this is actually Baal. The Phoenician government king named himself Baal, which is the name of a god. So you had Baal the first, Baal the second, Baal the third. Well, in the Roman Republic, they were doing the same thing. They were giving themselves wings, and they were setting themselves as gods. So when Quintus Valerius Serranos had revealed this, they executed him. Now, it is not rational, and in a free democracy, I don't think we live in a free democracy. We live in some sort of pseudo-republic. But in a free democracy, it is not rational to accept a government or to pledge allegiance to a government that rules by means of secrecy, especially with documents like Operation Northwoods, where the United States government plots to kill its own citizens. They declassify the documents, and it would be fascinating to hear Obama or one of these politicians actually address this issue of why was nobody punished? Why was nobody charged with treason? Why was nobody arrested? So it really takes an irrational mind or an ignorant mind to pledge allegiance or to trust such government powers. And I'm not just talking about the United States government. I'm talking about the entire global superstructure, our current global governmental system. This idea that politicians meet in secret with foreign politicians back during the founding of America would have been viewed as treason in itself. I mean, if you're a diplomat, everything you do is in the eyes of the public. Now, there were some things, military secrets, nuclear war plans. Yeah, obviously these things need to be kept secret. But are we living in an age that's any different from ancient Egypt? In ancient Egypt, the gods had secret names, and the government would execute you if you even sought these names. And that's true. You can probably do some Google searches. I have a whole library of esoteric books. But in today's day and age, Edward Snowden released secrets, and what's the first thing the government does? They start releasing death threats. So the only way they're able to maintain their power is by secrecy. And according to all these religions, it's the celestial beings who are creating the government like this. I do think we're going to have another enlightenment, and that people are going to overthrow this concept of secret global governance. It's really not working out. It didn't work out too well in the 20th century, and it's definitely not working out right now. But is the United States today any different than ancient Egypt? I want you to ask yourself that, and ask yourself, in Islam, why do the angels keep their names secret and only Adam knew what their names were?